The recent acquisition of Philip La by Axie Infinity team has brought some new points as well as new ideas to the Axie Infinity team, and Philip La is saying that Axie Infinity should move, or it will move, from the play to earn model to a play and earn model. So hence why Axie Infinity might no longer be play to earn. He has written a very comprehensive article about his thoughts and ideas, and we're gonna go through that article to see what else he has in mind when it comes to the Axie Infinity future. The article is on Substack, written by Phil on Axie, or that's the title of the article. It's written by Philip La. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Philip La was the game lead for Pokemon Go, so he definitely knows his stuff. And Philip's view, Axie Infinity economy and reasons to play, and this is a transparent look into my views around the economy and reasons to play. In the first couple of paragraphs, Philip does explain that he's still new to the blockchain technology and he's very open to criticism. So if you do have any comments about this article, then you should definitely go forward and voice them. So he's open to being wrong, basically, but he's still voicing his opinion. Now let's start with the fundamentals. For a given economy to sustain itself, there needs to be a net inflow of capital. It's simply not possible for everyone to put in $5 and take out $6 out. That's simply not how it works. That's how Ponzi schemes are built. That's just a magical, just an imagination, just numbers that simply don't exist. And some of those new coming games will have that model. They will promote a model where it looks like you can take out more money than you can actually put in. I would love it if a magical economy could be created where everyone can always take more money out than they put in, but it's simply impossible, as money cannot be created out of thin air. It has to come from somewhere. So how can that be accomplished? By providing non-monetary value. You participate in this every day anytime you pay for something that doesn't give you a financial return. For example, with traditional games, you put in $5 and you get intrinsic value such as fun, satisfaction, bragging rights, etc. So basically skins, whatever that might be for whatever games. The best example of this is League of Legends, probably. They make plenty of money from skin sales themselves. They always create new content around skins, and they don't have any financial returns unless you take part in professional tournaments, which are really hard to get into. So the only difference between sustainable blockchain games and traditional games is that the players that can put in $5 and get the intrinsic value, while also owning the assets they earn along the way with the options to sell them. So the marketplace that we know right now, you can still make profits, you can still flip your Axies, you can still take some money out, but you will not be living in a world where you put in $100 worth of Axies and then you will be taking out $1,000 later down the road. There will be some people who put in $5 and can get out with 6, and some people who put in 5 and can get out with 2. In both cases, players can be happy with the result, as they take out as what they take out is just a bonus on top of the intrinsic value they have received. Fun, friends, assets to brag about. But that also depends on how many intrinsic values they bring to the table. So with the release of Origin, there probably will be more things to show off. So badges, earnings, maybe some sort of a charm, runes that they have mentioned, some things that you can simply share with your community, and you have to put in some money to achieve them, whether that's through upgrading for SLP, whatever that might be. So they have to bring out more content in order for the money to be stay within the system. Ultimately, for sustainable economy, the overall average inflow needs to be greater than the outflow. That's pretty simple. That's basics. You cannot have more money going out than you have coming in. The goal for Axie Infinity from a Philip La point of view is not to create an economy where everyone can take out $6 if they put in 5, but it is to provide intrinsic value through the game while sharing the $5 that players might put in back with them, in contrast to traditional games where the developer takes the entire $5 for themselves. So that's the main difference between blockchain games, play to earn games, play and earn games, and the traditional games, is that whatever money you put into traditional games, that money always stays for the developers and for the company to use, whereas in blockchain games, some of that money is spread towards the other players, whether that's marketplace fee, treasury, or just simply buying assets and owning those assets which you can sell later to other players. Play to earn has become a very loaded term that many have interpreted to mean everyone can make money from playing. As outlined above, this is simply not possible, and they are actively shifting the narrative to play and earn. So you play a game and then you also earn on top of it, rather than you just play to earn. We know a couple of games right now that are simply play to earn. Those games don't have that much content. A prime example would be Pegaxi, or any other game that doesn't have a lot of mechanics within the game and it's simply RNG. It's play to earn. If that game didn't have any money coming with it, you simply wouldn't play it. So to be more clear, you can have fun playing a game and maybe earn some things along the way that you can own. Earning here also doesn't mean extracting from the ecosystem necessarily. It could be that you earn an asset that you hold on to and value as collectible. Now that was really not visible when it comes to Axie Infinity approach for the last months that I have joined the community, because there was no way to just enjoy the gameplay and don't take any money out. That was the main goal, to take money out. The whole idea, if you were a scholar living in the Philippines, was to take money out of the game because there was no other way to spend it within the game. There's literally no burn mechanics in Axie Infinity as we know it right now. If you're a scholar, if you are a player, the only burn mechanic is to breed, where many people don't have access to virgins to breed them. So that part, I see that they are moving towards that future where Axie Infinity will be a fun game that people will simply play because it's a fun game and they can earn on top of it. Not necessarily just money, but collectibles, NFTs, badges, whatever that might be in the future. So that's a good future. They are simply moving towards a traditional game with a twist rather than just it being, hey, come and play this game. If you put in money, you can take some money out as well. Although many players do love and enjoy our current gameplay, we know the game still has a lot of room to grow in providing more fun, and that is very, very true. If you don't have a meta team, if you have just one team made of 3 Axies, the game's really not that fun. You're gonna get stuck on some sort of an MMR that you're not gonna break through, and that's it. We have been clear about this from the start, that this is just the beginning. The gameplay and underlying in the infrastructure has pivoted multiple times throughout the years and will continue to transform significantly. And Philip talks about stuff like the Axie Infinity team growing over the last couple of months, and it takes a lot of time to build a well-developed game. And with that being said, being part of an economy earlier provides more opportunities to benefit as the economy grows. Is it still early for Axie Infinity? We are yet to find out, and at some point the inflow has to be greater than the outflow to maintain it. So as the economy grows over the long term, those who have assets earlier could potentially prosper from that growth. There's already over 10 million Axies on the marketplace and in existence, so is that still early for Axie Infinity to be growing? Some people will say yes, some people will say no, some people will say that below 100,000 Axies was the early parts of Axie Infinity, and everyone might be right. We just don't know as of now. We'll have to wait for Origin and what comes with it. But it looks like Philip La has a very good approach towards Axie Infinity to make it more fun, make it more rewarding, add more content rather than it just being a game that people play for SLP. Everyone working on Axie Infinity empathizes and cares deeply for all our players. However, if there are too many players that are purely extractive, this is not sustainable in the longer term, as we need players who both contribute and derive value from the system. However, if there are too many players that are purely extractive, this is not sustainable in the long term. We have seen that already. 90% of Axie Infinity community are scholars, and those people are purely extractive because they have no other way to spend that SLP rather than just turn it into money that they can use in real life. So that's a fault of Axie Infinity up to this point, that they haven't created a system where people can simply spend SLP within the game rather than extract it. Thus, our focus will always be primarily around creating long-term value for those who play and make purchases for the fun of it. The earning factor will always be an aspect we are thoughtful about, but we will not be optimizing our game or experiences to drive short-term returns, as it's simply not sustainable. We have seen that already as well, that they don't really care about the short-term band-aid solutions for SLP, otherwise they would have introduced burn mechanics early, but they have said that all burn mechanics are simply going to be introduced in Origin because there's no point introducing them to Battles V2 as we know it now, as they will have to transfer that system over to Origin. So they are building everything on Origin right now. However, what we will focus on is creating a balanced game economy with proper sources and sinks, just like a non-blockchain game have done for years. This is something that we need to and will continue to improve on. It's one of the big areas I'm personally focused on at Sky Mavis. Some good reason you should purchase Axies and play Axie Infinity is if you admire the art and find Axies cute, cool, quirky, derpy. it's not the most appealing NFT art that I have seen, Axies, I'll be honest with you. Like, I wouldn't purchase some Mystic parts and some Christmas parts look fine, look good visually. We'll see if they get improved upon, like the 3D that we see a screenshot of, but it's not the most appealing, I'll be honest with you. Are excited about being able to help grow and build a virtual nation? Not really. Find the games fun and appreciate being able to own, buy, sell. That's fun. Flipping on the marketplace is actually really fun. Back in November and October, I was really into the marketplace and flipping those assets, so that's a fun part for me, to find good opportunities in the marketplace and sell them for much more. Like that there's a possibility to earn assets? Not really. Enjoy hanging out? Not really. Value being a part of an active contributor? Not really. Want to collect and own tons of rare? Not really. Don't think in days and months but years and decades. Most people don't really do that, especially in the crypto space. Love to create content? Yeah, I'll guess so. Believe in the team vision. What I really like is the competitive side of Axie Infinity. That's the only game in the blockchain space right now that has a competitive aspect. So it has tournaments, it has some sort of an esport, it has a seasonal ladder that people actively climb. So being a competitor is actually what brings you to Axie Infinity as we know it right now. It's obviously tied to the monetary gains that you make from it, but that's the reason I'm here for it, rather than all of these things that they have mentioned. And I guess some of you will agree with me that it's the monetary gains and it's the competition. The primary reason you should hold SLP is if you want to breed specific and unique Axies for the community or yourself. This will change in the future, of course, as SLP gains more utility. We are yet to see what that utility is. I mean, they have already mentioned runes and amulets or charms, I think it was, so we will definitely see some of those, such as being used to craft runes and charms. Exactly, I should have just read that sentence. Outside of the core game loop, the entire Axie ecosystem sits on top of an infrastructure that provides fundamental value too. You should take part in owning a stake in those components if you want to be involved with co-ownership and governance of the ecosystem. Yeah, Ronin blockchain is actually one of those chains that is functioning very well. I mean, being involved with Nineko, which is built on BSC, and being involved in PegXC that is built on Polygon chain, both of these chains had plenty of issues with the short term that I have been spending with them. So Ronin is actually one of those most solid blockchains that I have, one of the most solid networks that I have been a part of. Everything seems to go through without an issue. They really haven't had a major issue on Ronin, so that's a network that I'm really hopeful for, and I'm holding to some run on top of that. And I'm really excited for what Builder program will bring us. Not Axie Infinity on its own, but build this program. I know there's talent out there that will bring us fun and entertaining games that we will look forward to. I encourage people to spend on what has value and utility to you, and I'm thrilled that there are so many incredible and unique opportunities ahead of us to create more experiences. This is going to be an incredibly difficult journey. It's not for those seeking a comfortable and easy path. If we are successful, we will have ignited a revolution that creates a new world for gamers. If it sounds like something you'd like to help build, join us and let's work to make it happen one day, one step at a time. So you can see the idea of Axie Infinity that they are taking forward. They are not trying to build on that play to earn system, make SLP as good as they can, give it as much utility as they can so it grows in value and they have more players. No, they are trying to build a game that is actually fun to play. It brings your usual casual gamers and they can earn some money on top of that, rather than it just being a shitfest of chasing SLP value. So I hope I have explained and I have interpreted that Philip La article well to you. Most of you probably haven't seen it, as you probably don't even know that Philip La works for Axie Infinity, but that's the way Axie Infinity will be moving forward. Let me guys know, what do you think about this step and this direction for Axie Infinity in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel for daily playthrough and content, and I will see you in the next one.